3, 2, 1.
Caron Williams, entrepreneur and founder of The Throne magazine. Hey, a whole cheeky.
Oh, yeah.
Caron got her own supporters here tonight. Okay. Up next is a personal friend of mine. Lebogang Mothibe, all-round creative, muso, big boss, and entrepreneur. Please come up, sir. Dynamite! Hey! Dynamite, dear dude! Yes! That's right! Yo! Also, Mkazakore. Yo! Lena! Ibile ke batlo nna go gatse but nka se nne go gatse. Lena! Man. Khopela lo tseleng o sumatsogo. Okay? Because this is the deserved respect that she has garnered. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DJ Zinhle, entrepreneur and musician. Yo, Tabangu Lorenz. Okay, Lorenz. Right, Lorenz. Right, Lorenz.
Morning.
I'ksasa Lami. I'ksasa Lami. Siamazu moda. Yeah, keep him up. Right. Last but not. No, you're not the last. Nyazala, you. Please welcome Khaya Dlanga, marketing executive, best-selling author, and speaker. Saving the best for last, aren't we? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gigi Alcock, marketer, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Please give your warmest welcome. Chairman.
Yeah.
Simul.
What's about panel A? This panel gives them a quantifier. When I think of the wealth of experience that's here, and then I think of the bank account that's here.
Boy.
Shumai nami ngiba motivated, yo. Ukuthi nami ngizoba nice life. Sizoba great. In the great words and poet of Kendrick Lamar, we gonna be alright.
Mina ngikhumbula iminister yami. Ithi we gon' be right. We gon' be alright. Right. Guys, why are campaigns such as Amstel's The Entrepreneur important for township businesses? Any one of you can take the question. Khaya, Khaya, come. Because you were late.
All right, I'll go. I think for me, these kinds of things, these kinds of campaigns are very important because one, they get into the communities and they're not just about, about the business making money for itself, but it's also raising future and potential entrepreneurs. And for me, there's one thing it actually does for me, and what I learned from the people that I was mentoring is the philosophy that I have for myself, which is that I may not be qualified to do anything, but I will not disqualify myself from doing anything. And so what I've noticed and observed from everybody who's been working here and all these entrepreneurs is that this is what they've done for themselves, is that they may not have learned to go and make coffee, or they may not have gone to school to do fashion, but they did not disqualify themselves. They taught themselves on the street to make the work, to make the businesses that they need to make in order to become successful.
That's all. Zinhle?
I'm not that old.
Oh, inhlonipho asimele sitheleke nje. Angithi no protocol. Ma'am, you have been, just from a music perspective, you've done music and then you ventured into business, and coming up the ranks, we often wish there were people who could help us along the way. Personally for you, why was it important for you to get involved in this initiative?
Sanwanani? Ninjani? Igama lami uNtombi Zinhle wakwamawosana. So I come from the school of Kalao Jasmi. I was mentored by people like Abu Oskido, Abu Mahuta, but when I started DJing, there weren't a lot of female DJs in the industry. So the guidance was there, but it was never specific to what I needed as a female DJ in the industry. And also growing into business, when I grew up at home, there was a spaza shop, but I didn't understand it as business at the time, or training for myself. But what I noticed with Mangena industry, or Masangena again, also in business, I didn't have access to people who have done it before me, who could help me, who could understand the journey that I was starting. So mentorship was something that I always wished for. I always wished someone would tell me what to do. To this day, I still wish for mentorship, and this is why I got involved in this project. It was anything that I have learned for myself over the last 11 years of being in business. If I can just teach someone else something, then it's, I've done something great, because I understand. Also because Tina Manyama, Askulama play business in. When Caron was assigned, maybe they're gonna have a better opportunity. Maybe Tina will start it before, but me Nanje, I didn't understand it as business before, and I didn't understand that I would go into this journey. Had I had the type of mentorship and guidance that Amstel's providing to the mentors, I think I'll be much further in my career, and this is why I got involved.
Okay. Gigi, I'm going to throw this one to you. What were some of the learnings for you in your journey as a mentor in this campaign?
Thank you. So I think fanele ngikhulume ngesiZulu ngoba ke laba abanye.
Hayi bo kahleni besingazi. Yazi besingazi.
How?
Aningitsheli. Oh, sorry Gigi, mfethu. Sorry mfethu.
Hayi ngeke ngibuwe bathi ngizokhuluma, so I think okubalekile ukuthi isikhathi esiningi asikholwa ukuthi ke lamabhizinisi ke siphanda ngawo elokishini amabhizinisi oqobo, and so I think into ebalekile ukuthi nas check nas cabanga ngamabhizinisi ethu kufanele siwahloniphe, and we should be celebrating these businesses, and we should be actually saying they're real businesses and these are real entrepreneurs. Just because they're in a township, or just because they're in a street, or just because basimkhukwini, doesn't mean that it's not a business. And part of the lesson of this was that these guys were incredible. I mean, they're amazing businesses, and I feel you, man. So I think into kufanele siyenze ukuthi ke sihloniphe lento esinayo ekhona phakathi kwethu, and singabheki ngaphandle sithi yahabuka lapha yana kunoba Elon Musk whatever. Phakathi kwethu kunamabhizinisi azophumelela abalekile, and ikusasa lethu lime kulama bhizinisi lawo.
Awushaye khona Gigi, siyabonga.
Caron, the entrepreneurs were handed 50,000 rand towards their businesses for marketing and so forth. Why do you think it was important to give them the startup capital in order to embark on this journey?
So if I started with a bit of my own background,
Yeah.
I'm from Polokwane, I'm from a township called Westernburg. My dad is a hawker, my mom passed away when I was a baby. And for entrepreneurs like this, and DJ Zinhle touched on it, Theo touched on this, there aren't opportunities for us. You know, you have a dream, you have a vision, you don't know how to go about it, and you push on and you build it. But the support is so important. You can push, you can have the vision, but the support that township entrepreneurs are getting is not the same as the opportunities other people are getting. So number one, for Amstel to recognize that, and for Gigi, who, I don't know if everyone knows this, who conceptualized this, who put it together, who's so passionate about the plus economy, who, you know, really pushed for all the mentees to get the 50,000 Rand prize. I don't think they would have had this opportunity from any other brand, or not as easily as they've gotten it. I think a lot of them came into it, they understood their businesses, but really didn't have a full structure of the importance of marketing, or how you go about it, or why it is so strategic. So to see how they've utilized it with the respective guidance of all the amazing mentors here has been amazing. We've seen the growth. I think all of the mentees have seen the growth, and I think for myself to have started this journey with, I mean, we had 3,000 entries initially, or thousands upon thousands.
And we went from township to township.
We went to township to visit all, I think it was 40 or 50. You know, we went to their homes, were, you know, really connected with them. To see the top now and how they utilize it has been an amazing journey. So I think the importance of marketing has been really demonstrated, and beyond the competition, beyond who wins or, you know, who doesn't make it to this round, they're all winners, and they're all going to take valuable lessons beyond this in how to market their businesses going forward. And I think that is the crux of what the 50,000 was meant to represent, over and above the financial value of that.
Lebo, I'm going to come to you. I want to find out why you think mentorship is important.
For sure. I think when it comes to mentorship being important, there's decisions I've taken in my life, for sure, in the route of business, that I know that had I done this a little bit more differently, or had I done this, or I got just a little bit of advice to do that, you know, other things would be different and things would definitely have changed. As I say, entrepreneurship is constantly, mentorship is constantly ongoing. You never stop learning. There's always somebody out there, bigger, better, doing more, you know, in every way, you know, so there's never really a ceiling. So with technology as well, outside of us here today, and to the guys that won't get the opportunity, you know, to walk hand in hand with other people, you know, I always, some people ask me, what should I do with music? What should I do with this? I'm like, yes, Joe, sometimes that you look up to. So if you look up to Jay-Z, if you look up to Foka, whoever, you say, okay, what are the steps they've taken in their career, in their lives? Okay, and how can I mimic those steps in my business, right? That's like, you know, being a copycat is not a crime. It's one of the number one things you can do. So do that, but also go boldly. You know, in your, they say ignorance is bliss. They never said that because it's a mistake. You know, sometimes the more you know, you're going to be intimidated by all sorts of rules. There's too many things I've done where I never had the startup capital, never had this, never had that. But the main thing is that to start, right? And if you don't have a mentor next to you, feel free to just look around, pick up a book, look at the internet, read the stories, and just read from people in your neighborhood to abantu abasechartini. Which, all right, these are the steps that we need to take. Ask questions, but also never stop and carry on going boldly. And, you know, like, and without even going too much, I don't know if I'm allowed or what, but I mean, definitely special shout out to all the guys in the competition, and I just want to give words of encouragement to also my guys, you know, to say Uti, and I want everybody to take it that, like, when we looked into these businesses, we also looked into scalability. How do you make this thing grow, and ultimately how can it also ideally function without you one day, you know? So I mean, with you know, with Excellence Bar, you know, I mean, the mission is clear and it's simple. You know, starter is sponsor malume wes Kia, and then unama package our paisayo and tola from self-starting all the way to corporate. So whether you've got 2,000 or you got 100,000, he'll go stock for you, he'll tell you what you need to do, and then he'll come and supply. So it fits every business. With Uzozi, I mean, the big vision is that like one day she's going to build, you know, the first Spaza franchise, I'm told, that we're going to put out there, right? I'm told that is the vision. This thing can be anywhere in any time. Wudu does the things that he's got a brand, yes, but you don't have to wait for that brand to be successful. So we strategize on building a business that's going to be sustainable on a daily basis, because he also does bespoke wedding clothing, but he does tailoring, he does uniforms for people. So I'm like, you can go into retail and expand, and the African Stitch can be that shop that is in every mall that people know they can go to and get the products that they need and can live on its own every day, while that retail business builds the brand itself. So I want you guys to continue and shine, and I want everybody that's doing their thing right now to continue and shine, and we're all growing together. Not in our businesses, we're growing, and together we'll shine.
Good Khaya. Any nuggets that you were able to impart onto some of the entrepreneurs that you were working with, like little tricks of the trade, or just little nuggets that you were able to give them?
Yeah, I'd say that the most important thing that I must say about everybody is that 98% of the work is them, right? It's what they have done. And my contribution is like that last 2%. So I can't really take any. They were going to become successful anyway without me. And I think for me, that's the one thing I've got to say about all ourselves, because they started these businesses, they came up with ideas and entered, this competition, because it's about initiatives that they do. And the one thing that I'd say for me, for the people that I worked with, was that it's important to be very clear about what your product and your brand stands for. Because that way it's going to be very clear for what someone else thinks about it and why they should choose you. Because every single one of these, like for example, if you're thinking about, like, let's say, Zulu Astronaut, you're thinking about Lebza with the coffee, and you're thinking about Zayn with the sneakers, is that it's not the only coffee business in town. But you've got to make people understand why they should choose your coffee when they go to ShopRite to Pick and Pay and pick your coffee over any other coffee. Or why I should go and have my Snickers washed by Zayn than anybody else, and there's so many other options that I could use. So that is important to stick in mind, so that like when I think about a product that I want to use, I've got to think about yours first. That is the only trick that I was really trying to instill upon everybody.
Now, Gigi, going into the entire process, and being there from inception and speaking to the entrepreneurs, what are your personal highlights from this? What would you firstly like to take away with this entire campaign, and what would you like the takeaway to be for the campaign?
So I work a lot of the time with Gasi entrepreneurs, and I've obviously written about it a lot. I went out with Caron and some of the community radio stations, and I couldn't believe some of these amazing entrepreneurs, even the ones who didn't make it through there, that they were just these people really working hard, trying something. And that was the starting point. It was moving, it was incredible in that, so, and that was amazing. And then when we look at the people who eventually made it through, there were 20 people and they had to get voted for. And people like Zayn walked the streets getting people to WhatsApp their votes in. Everyone went and they tried to get their community. I mean, the energy behind that was incredible. And these 12 really deserved where they got to for that. And then watching that journey, I mean, and it's probably the wrong thing to say here, but I really thought that the celebrity mentors would be bored and wouldn't really, do a lot. And it was extraordinary, the energy that was put into it from, DJ Zinhle, Caron, Lebo, and Khaya. I mean, it was amazing. And I think that actually illustrated the passion behind these entrepreneurs for other entrepreneurs and helping them. And that for me was quite extraordinary, but also the lessons they learned. And one of the contestants said to me, he said, you know, if I don't win, it doesn't matter, it's the journey. And you know, it's that thing, Zinhle yaziwa by Hamdi. I just think that this is not only the journey that's been traveled by these mentors with these entrepreneurs, but also they become pathfinders. And I think that's important.
Caron, I want to come to you. What were some of your campaign highlights?
Wow, that is a very good and tough question. And again, starting from my journey, you know, I do feel like an emotional connection and involvement to all 12 because we have seen them from the start to get where they are now. So I'm not trying to be biased, but obviously I have my 3 mentees who have all been phenomenal and I think game-changing and innovative and so passionate. So I really don't want to single out any particular person, but seeing the sorry, and the ambulance company that they have and how incredible it is, and to take that again from an idea, building an ecosystem in the township economy, how you get like coverage, medical coverage, where if you can't afford discovery, if you can't afford, you know, high-end medical aids, how do you make sure that you are still covered for a family? I think that has been incredible. I think that's so innovative and game-changing. To see them get to like a level where they're on Scheme Sum, which is like a national TV show with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of viewers, and I think that just has demonstrated if you have tenacity, if you are focused, if you work hard, if you have drive and you really push, that is what is possible. They've done this in 3 months. What they're able to do in the next 3 months or the next 3 years is like, you know, there is no limits to that. So I think that has been a really big highlight for me. But just overall, I think everyone has done so well. Everyone, I'm proud of everyone. I think they've done incredible and that they're all going to go so far in their journeys. And just touching on what Gigi says, it's not just about this competition. They're going to go beyond this, and like the impact they have in their respective communities is going to be like lasting for years to come.
There's an ongoing debate about being a successful entrepreneur. It's always a conversation that comes up as to when we define being a successful entrepreneur. Is it the journey or is it the destination?
I can't comment on the destination because, wow, I haven't recognized it yet. I mean, I've been a DJ for 18 years now, and I've been in business for 11 years. I used to be called Siswa Mawash when I started my business 11 years ago selling watches. And it's important to respect the journey and understand the purpose of the journey. And I think even this process that we went through with the Amstel and the competition is part of the journey, even for us. You know, I learned so much from this experience. And the thing about the journey also is that we're not always going to win. We learn from failure. We fail a lot of times and we get up and we do it again. Businesses are built by being consistent. Consistency builds brands. Doing the same thing over and over again until you get it right is the journey. Destinations is Zoibona, because we are going to get to where we want to go. And for me, the big dream is to create more jobs. The youth in South Africa we're in a mess. There are no jobs. The youth is not only unemployed, but they're unemployable because skills development is suffering. So we have a big role to play with the small businesses that we're growing. The picture is bigger than me. It's bigger than just us in the room. We are supposed to save the youth.
Sure. Because I want to send a personal thank you to you guys for your time, your effort, imparting your valuable knowledge. It's really been such a huge nugget of enlightenment, even just for me, who's come in at the end here. But you guys are really, really important. Judges, thank you for joining us here on stage. I'd like to release you. Let's give our judges a round of applause.
Right.